Hello everyone, this is VGTI, where we take a look at all of the weird, mysterious theories and mysteries going on in video games. Today I want to take a look at Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which was actually just released pretty recently, a lot ahead of its scheduled release. Actually, it had 2 scheduled releases and it released even earlier than those, so it was a pleasant surprise. I've been playing it trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and I think I have an idea as to what's actually happening in the game. So hear me out, because a lot of you guys and a lot of the gaming community have probably seen the ending by now. So obviously there will be spoilers. Now, let's get on to the theory. So, the ending of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 seems to depict what most people believe to be the bite of 87. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? The kid gets pushed towards Fredbear, and his head gets crushed in Fredbear's mouth. It pretty much perfectly describes the bite of 87, at least with how we've imagined it. Here's the thing, though. I believe that this is not the bite of 87, and I'm not the only one to think this. A lot of people out there have noticed the inconsistencies with this scene compared to what we know about the bite of 87. So let's review what we do know. The bite of 87 was first mentioned in Five Nights 1, when Phone Guy described it as an event that happened, and he described it as, "It's amazing what the human body can do without the frontal lobe," implying that the bite of 87 caused a human to get bitten by one of the animatronics and have their frontal lobe missing. Then, in Five Nights 2, which turned out to be a prequel, we find out at the end of the game that that game takes place in 1987. And with the way Phone Guy talks through his phone messages on certain nights, it seems like the bite of 87 happens soon after that game ends. Almost like directly after Night 6. Now, what's important to note here is the other locations of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has had multiple locations throughout its history, starting originally with Fredbear's Family Diner. Phone Guy states that this is the original location and that it shut down due to an unfortunate incident several years ago, and that it changed its name to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is the institute that we see, or not the institute, but the place that we see in Five Nights 2. We see Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, new and improved in Five Nights 2, but it closes down due to the bite of 87, and then reopens in the 90s, and that's where we see it in Five Nights 1. However, there was another bite that happened, and this bite happened at Fredbear's Family Diner, a place that we haven't really seen before, at least until now, in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Not a whole lot was known about Fredbear's Family Diner, but what we did see of it came in the form of the 8-bit Atari minigames that come in both Five Nights 2 and 3. In Five Nights 2, in one of the death minigames, you have to give cake to kids. It's in a very small location, and Freddy's the only one there, so a lot of people assume that this was Fredbear's Family Diner. And I still think it is. Interesting to note is that the purple guy shows up in this minigame and kills a crying kid. This supposedly was the first victim of the killer, and this victim became the puppet. Now, we also see Fredbear's Family Diner in Five Nights 3. The third game reveals something very important. It reveals that Fredbear's Family Diner didn't only have Freddy as an animatronic/costume, but it also had Springtrap, or Spring Bonnie. These two performed together on a stage, and they doubled as both animatronics and wearable suits, although they were pretty dangerous to wear. And now we arrive at Five Nights at Freddy's 4. In the minigames where we play as the child that we supposedly play as, the bite victim, the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that we're at is actually Fredbear's Family Diner. We can tell this for multiple reasons. For one, it's a small location. There's not a whole lot to it. You can get through it pretty fast. Second of all, when you go to see what's on stage, it's just Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. It's just like what we see in the minigames in the earlier games. Springtrap, or Spring Bonnie, was put out of use after Fredbear's shut down, and we didn't see it at the other locations because they weren't using it. This also proves that this is at Fredbear's Family Diner. For further proof, the kids that have the boy give Fredbear a kiss even call him Fredbear. They don't call him Freddy. And finally, for one last bit of evidence, there's an advertisement that you can see play on the kid's TV in his house if you wait around long enough, and it says Fredbear and Friends, 1983. So all of this seems to point towards the fact that we now have a date, an official date for when Fredbear's Family Diner was around, and this was 1983, 4 years before 1987 and the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So, with all of these facts combined, it's my theory and my belief that this bite is a completely separate bite. It is not the bite of 87, but rather the bite of 83, as some people have been calling it. It is a separate bite that we have not heard about before. So that's my theory for that, but now I have to move on to a completely separate theory, another assumption that a lot of people have been making about the game, but could actually be wrong. Most people assume, rightfully so, that we play as the crying boy that becomes the victim of this bite. I mean, it makes sense. We play as him in the Atari minigames of Five Nights 4, but my theory is that we don't play as this kid. We play as his brother. If you recall, his brother is the one who's always wearing the Foxy mask, jumping out in his house and scaring him, and he eventually ends up being the one responsible for starting the whole bite in the first place, saying that they need to bring him closer to Fredbear and have him give Fredbear a kiss, and the other kids are like, yeah, let's do it, and they carry him to the stage. We play as his brother, and we play after the bite has happened. Whenever these 8-bit Atari minigames are played, they're always flashbacks to prior events that we've never seen before. And that goes for this game too. All of these minigames are flashbacks to the days before the party, and the party itself. And the actual nights that we play in the game are after the bite has happened. We're playing as his guilt-stricken brother. He's being hunted down, haunted by the animatronics. He is so guilt-filled about what he did, and because of this, he starts having hallucinatory nightmares about these animatronics. And even worse, Fredbear starts hunting him down. Fredbear is even more important because that's the one who he had his brother get bit by. This also explains the pills, the IV drip, the flowers that can appear by the bed, the connection between his brother visiting him at the hospital, probably in a coma-induced state. And finally, this also explains the inconsistency about how this kid can have nightmares or dreams when his frontal lobe is gone. Now, it is possible that these events, these nights, take place before the bite. However, I don't believe that's the case. One, because of how the minigames are always flashbacks, but two, how the images that the kid sees, the pill bottles, the IV drip, and the flowers, it's not a premonition, it's a flashback to how certain things have already happened and are happening, and that's because we are playing as his brother. So, what do you guys think? Do you believe that this is the bite of 87 or a completely different bite? And what about who we play as? Tell me in the comments below, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them. I know I didn't cover everything, and I'm probably going to do another video where I cover the minor, smaller mysteries that are still in the game. Stuff that I didn't gloss over here. But I wanted to talk about these 2 points in particular, because these two things just did not make sense to me when I beat the game. I thought this couldn't be the bite of 87. It contradicts everything that we've learned from the other games. Now, Like I said, if you guys have questions or if you want to provide your own theories, please leave them in the comments, and if there's anything specific you want me to cover about Five Nights at Freddy's, please tell me. I might be covering it in my next video, chances are, but we'll see. Now, I don't know if my next Five Nights video is going to be directly after this one, or if I'll do some other theory video first, but we'll see. I just had to get my thoughts out there since this game just recently came out, and well, I hope you guys enjoyed the theories. So that's it for this video, guys. Leave a like if you liked the video, and if you like my channel and video game theories and Five Nights at Freddy's and pretty much anything gaming related as far as theories go, then please subscribe. You'll get plenty more where this came from, and I try to upload on a weekly basis every other week, depending on game release schedules and theory ideas and all of that good stuff. The nitty-gritty stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.